Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope your day is going great. Mine's been awesome, and today we're talking with Koska. Now, for most of you guys who've been following my channel over the season, you know Koska comes on my channel. We talk about Koreans, what their opinions are on a bunch of topics, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. Starting off with Fisher, then Rascal, then the coaches Wizard Hyung, Bishop, anything and everything Korean, guys. You're going to be able to learn what he thinks and other Koreans think about the Overwatch League. So now, without further ado, let's hop into it. Hey Koska, how have you been doing, man?
I'm doing great. I was kind of busy studying my major. I got some time today, and I've come to talk to Michael.
Alright, so let's start off with me. What do the Koreans think about me, my videos, my leaks, pretty much everything?
Well, actually, there are some people who translate your videos and script them and post it on Korean Reddit. But sometimes they translate all your script and they post it on the Reddit, Korean Reddit. And there are some interesting reactions. And before, when you were like leaking just the juices, they were saying that you are some kind of a person who always talks about some dramas. And those people, they didn't like it at first. But when you like leaking those news, and some of them were like proved to be correct, and Korean people are like, they're starting to think, consider you as a reliable source of those news. Yes, and that's how Koreans think about you these days.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. I had no idea people wrote scripts of some of my videos. I can definitely understand why many of them might not like it, because a lot of the drama was centered around some Korean players last year, like Effect, like Fisher recently. I am glad though that some are starting to see that I'm a credible source and they can use my leaks however they see fit. But I guess this is a good transition to start talking about Fisher then. This was a little bit of an old topic. He did get transferred over to Seoul Dynasty a couple weeks ago, but I've never really gotten the Korean perspective of everything that went down with him, you know, with the Slasher beef and LA Gladiator subbing him out. So like, what do you think and what do Koreans think about that?
Well, I'm kind of disappointed at Fisher. If you remember, like when we were talking about Effect, I mentioned Fisher, right?
Yeah.
As a good example of how to like resolve those conflicts within the team. But turned out that Fisher also has a similar kind of a problem, and I think the way he dealt with the problem was kind of immature.
Immature?
Yes.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think how he kind of just focused on arguing with Slasher rather than like mending his relationship with the LA Gladiators.
Yes, yes.
And I think that
And
was
I
like a
think that
downfall.
I also think that that's what he should have done instead of like defending himself.
Yeah. What is like the overall general consensus of Koreans?
It's kind of interesting. Like people are now starting to wonder, why are there so many conflicts between Korean players and the Western players?
Oh, okay.
Like, yes, they're also curious about how the Western players like prepare and how they grind themselves. Because you know there are some differences between those Koreans and the Westerners, right?
Yeah, because like the main problem from Fisher's perspective, or at least what he said, was that he didn't think his team was working hard enough, and I guess that caused him to, you know, rage or overreact and got him in trouble. So like
Yes.
Koreans are wondering like how easy do Western players take it during practice, stuff like that.
Yes, not exactly, but they're wondering what is the difference between those two.
Just what is the
And
difference in general? Okay.
yes, in general. And the interesting thing is, Rascal also had the same problem, right?
Yeah,
In
he
Dallas
did.
Fuel. And Rascal and Fisher, they used to be on the same team, right? Before joining the league.
That is true.
And people are thinking, like, there's got to be some problems on their league teams, not on the previous teams, because when they were together, they didn't have any problems.
Yeah, everything
And
was fine.
Rascal was, yes, everything was fine. And Rascal was even considered as like a passionate guy, and he was even a captain of the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from this point, people are thinking that there could be some problems in those teams, like how they approach the practices. I'm not trying to like criticize their
Yeah.
mindset, but there's gotta be some big difference between those two.
Really? Okay. That's actually interesting because from like most Westerners' standpoint, at least like the past month after everybody realized, all right, you know, what Slasher is saying actually happened, they're saying, yeah, I think LA Gladiators was in the right. You know, Fisher needed to be disciplined. Maybe they shouldn't have benched him for their biggest match, but Fisher kind of messed up and they're not so angry at the LA Gladiators. They think more so it's probably Fisher's fault. But the
Yeah.
Koreans are kind of more on Fisher's side saying, well, maybe there's like a problem with the approach to coaching or practice when it comes to Western teams. That's interesting.
Well, I wouldn't say there's a problem, but I'd rather say there's a big difference
Yeah,
between
okay.
how they approach it. Yes.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. So, like, a Western's perspective on coaching is let's work hard, but if we get, a little burned out, let's take it easy, maybe not take every single game so serious. And from a Korean's coaching perspective, they're like, oh, no, we need to grind, we need to practice hard, hard, hard every single day. If it gets tough, then we need to just practice even harder. Let's go ahead and move on then and talk a little bit about Rascal since we did just bring him up. So if you heard the news, I dropped it about an hour ago. Rascal is signing with the San Francisco Shock. He's being moved up to the main Overwatch League roster. So he's going to be getting a second chance in the Overwatch League. How do you feel about that? Do you think like he deserves it? He should be in the league?
I think he deserves, but I don't know if he's better than Architect.
That's a good question to raise. There was actually something that came
Yes.
out from one of the X6 Gaming coaches today saying that we would see everybody in the Overwatch League as if X6 Gaming got signed. And then he also said something about wanting to bring Architect with him. So there are like some rumors going on right now that Rascal's being moved up because Architect got traded over to X6 Gaming and whoever they're joining. Now, I don't know the truth of that, but it's a rumor going around right now.
Okay, if that's the case, it makes sense.
Yeah, it would. Rascal and Architect are both
Yes.
good too. It's hard to say which one would be better. There was
Yes, it's hard to say.
There was also a quote that came out from the head coach of San Francisco Shock saying that he wanted a more vocal DPS player, and the Architect doesn't really communicate that much. So
Oh, okay.
that's another part of the rumor as well. So it could be happening. Very interesting. Personally, I think Rascal should be in the Overwatch League. I think he kind of got a weird situation. I wouldn't say his situation was similar to Fisher's, just because he was on the Dallas field, which was a complete wreck. Like anybody who was on that team, like they get a pass from me for being over emotional or whatever they did. Whereas, like, we never heard of any drama from the LA Gladiators except for Fisher's time. So I'm more lenient with Rascal, and I feel like he definitely should be cut some slack for being on Dallas field and then how he got traded as well.
Yes, I also agree with you. I also agree with you that Rascal also deserves a place in the Overwatch League. If what you said are all correct, I think Rascal is going to be a great replacement for Architect.
Yeah, and it's actually also part of the rumors with Dante potentially being traded over to the Houston Outlaws too. So they're making space for Rascal to come up. It kind of makes sense, I mean, Rascal
Yeah, it
already
makes
did come
sense.
up, so we could be saying goodbye to Dante and to Architect. It's definitely something that is possible. So I guess we can move on again now, and let's go ahead and talk about some coaches. So first, let's talk about Bishop, which I dropped this leak like 3 days ago that he would be joining Toronto, and that they would be going for a full Korean roster or just mostly Korean dominant. Has the news gotten across to Envin about this? What do they think?
Actually, they're worried about him. Like, worried about the team rather,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
you know,
Bishop has
most
had an
of the
interesting past, yeah.
yes, most of the Koreans don't like the way he coaches the team, so they were worrying that he might also mess up the
Okay.
new team.
Yeah. See, that's interesting. So I was told by my sources that when Bishop got dropped, but he actually didn't get dropped from London Spitfire, he left due to personal reasons and family reasons. That London
Yes.
Spitfire kind of used it as a scapegoat when they started underperforming at the end of stage 2. And they never said anything or tried to defend him. They just made it seem like they released him because he was doing bad. So knowing that
Oh,
information, I kind of feel like maybe Bishop, he can still be a good head coach. But if I do go back to his time on Cloud9, where he just completely screwed up like the roles, we had
Yeah,
Surefour
right.
playing random stuff. Zephyr was on
Yeah,
Tracer.
yeah,
Really weird stuff. Now that was
Yeah.
confusing, and from that I thought Bishop wasn't a very good coach. But he did coach the London Spitfire to a stage 1 championship, and he did put that team together. And then hearing
Yeah,
that he apparently had to leave and he wasn't kicked, that kind of changes my opinion about him, and I'm willing to give him another chance because of that. I don't know if that's the information has been released to Invin.
Oh, I don't know if they know that. I don't think their opinion about Bishop's gonna change.
Okay. So they're like,
Yes.
they got a really strong opinion about him. Okay.
Yes, because like London Spitfire was made of GC Busan and Kong de Panthera, right? And people are thinking that the reason why they won the first stage, stage 1, was just because those teams were good And
Yeah.
when Bishop's tile, what do you call that, imposed on the team,
Yeah.
people think that that is the main reason why the team collapsed
Okay.
and why the team struggled during the following season,
So he
following
started
stages
to
rather.
put more like he took over more and started just doing what he wanted to do rather than what was best for the
Yes,
team. Okay.
yes,
That's interesting.
that's what people on Inban think.
All right, so that's Bishop. Let's move on then and talk about Wizard Hyung now, who, in my opinion, was in an interesting spot after season one. Obviously, had an incredible run. You know, they went like, I think 32-8 or something. Hardly lost any
Yes.
games, were the best team in the league. But then there was this segment that he did where he pretty much just hyped himself up for 4 minutes, called himself the typical genius, all this, all this cocky stuff. And then immediately
Yes.
after that, they lost. And then he was released from the team. Obviously had a good season, but it ended in a weird spot. And I know Koreans don't really like cockiness. They prefer people to be humble. So I'm wondering what Koreans' perspective or opinion on Wizard Hyung is and him getting signed to DC.
He has a positive impression.
He does?
on,
Okay.
on them. Yes, because he was the first one to analyze the team based on those like statistics.
Yeah.
People like him because he led Excelsior do really great on the season.
When
Yes,
when you bring a team to that type of record, people are going to support you. And
Yes.
I think he was a great coach. As you said, those statistics, like, that's hard work. He puts in the work, so he definitely deserves the credit.
like he's being kind of a meme source because of what he said, like
Yeah.
the typical genius or um, Excelsior and non-Excelsior.
Yeah.
People are saying that now the league is going to be consisted of the teams that are Washington and non-Washington. But it turned out to be that Wizard Hyung is not joining the Washington, and we don't know yet.
Wait, no, he is. It got officially announced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it got
Okay.
officially announced. I know I leaked it, and then he made a tweet saying he's not,
Yes.
which was
Ah,
interesting,
okay.
even though it was confirmed by my sources. But yeah, he is joining Washington, D.C. Actually,
Oh.
so did that get posted on Invin when I leaked that he would be coaching Washington, D.C.? And then
Yes,
he
that
said
got
he wasn't
posted.
joining, and everybody believed him?
Yes, everybody believed him, but I don't know how they are reacting now.
Oh, interesting. That's definitely something to check
yes.
up on. Yeah, it was
Oh,
announced
yeah.
like 2 hours ago by DC that he was the head
Ah.
coach. And following him is
Okay.
Janice now, which is going to be their main tank.
Oh, Janice is joining Washington.
Yup, that's right.
Oh, that's good for him.
Yeah, he's a
Hold-
good
hold
main
on.
tank. Maybe we should
Yes,
check
he's a
Invin real quick and see if people are talking.
Yes. Hold on a second. Let me check it.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay. The news was posted 13 minutes ago. Okay, and there's not much of reactions from it
Not much
because
yet. Yeah, still
it's
new.
only been 13 minutes, and I'll tell you when there are much of reactions.
Sounds
I
good.
have some opinions
What's your
about it.
personal opinion about him joining DC? You think that's a good move from DC? Their GM did say that they want to go with a mixed roster. They know like this is a strong impression that they might be going full Korean, but she said that they do want to have a mixture of Western and Korean players. So what's your opinion on that? Like mixed teams?
Well, I think if they can communicate fluently, mixed team is better than full Korean.
Oh, really?
Yes, only if they can communicate fluently.
Okay.
Only if there's
How-
no
how
obstacles.
come?
There are really good Western players too, right?
Of course, yeah.
If you like limit the pool only for the Koreans, I think there's not going to be any diversity.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So like flexibility when it comes to certain heroes. You're not always going to be able to find the right Korean players that can play every single hero you need. So having a Western player could be valuable if their pool matches what you need.
If you get a mixed roster, I think that is really competent enough to beat the Korean teams, just because they're really good Western players too in the NA contenders or those European contenders. We've seen mixed teams like doing better than Korean teams.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of good mixed teams
Yes.
last year. LA Valiant, LA
Yes.
Gladiators, Boston Uprising. They all went
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia obviously all the way to the finals. You know, of course, the
Yes.
Korean all Korean team did end up winning, but there were more successful mixed teams than full Korean teams.
Yes, at the beginning of the season, there Korean teams were like dominating the
That's true,
stage,
yeah.
but as the time went on rather, yes, the mixed teams were kind of doing better than the full Korean.
Yeah, that's
So
very true.
th-
Is that like
Yes.
is that what most Koreans think, or is that just your opinion?
I think it's just my opinion because a lot of Koreans still think that the full Korean is gonna be better
Okay.
than the mixed ones. So
Moving on then, let's go ahead and talk about the last topic, which is just Korean contenders teams in general. And Where do you think some of them might end up going? We have Kongdu, Panthera, Runaway, pretty much the two really strong rosters. We just talked about X6 earlier. They said that they pretty much have a confirmed spot, or most of them are joining a team together. Do you think that Runaway will stick together? I know they're saying that they want to, but with a lot of big offers coming to some of their star players, it's really hard.
Yes, that's really hard. And considering that your career as a pro gamer is not gonna last as long as the traditional sports, right?
Very true.
So, in my opinion, I think it's better. I think it'll be better for those players to like separate individually. But as we have seen from the cases of Kaiser and TZ, I'm not sure if their success is guaranteed if they separate.
That's actually a really good point. So the first one you made about them, the longevity of an esports player isn't that long, so you want to get as much money out of it as possible. But then when they separate, the ones that have already at least separated from Runaway haven't done that great. I'd say Tizzy, he's had some success, second place NA contenders, not bad. Kaiser, though, definitely he struggled. He went to Cloud9. That did not work out. Then he was a sub for GGA, and he never played, eventually got dropped. So, you're right.
Yeah.
Success maybe isn't guaranteed. They could just be really good as a team. Although I do think there's probably an exception for like Caxel. He would probably be fine wherever he went. But for all the other players, that is a possibility.
And also, I think that thinking about their chemistry or synergy, like I think they better stay together. Like they're gonna do great, and they even beat the South Korea national team, right?
Yeah, they did.
So if they stay together, I think they might even win the league. I think
That's a
Yes.
bold prediction there. There's a lot of good teams.
Yes,
They
there's
definitely have
lot
a
of good
chance. They
teams.
definitely have a chance. Runaway, they're strong. If they can't keep everybody together, I think it will come down to whether or not like their management comes with them. I think if they lose their management and they go under like a North American management, it might be a little harder for them.
Yes, and that's also a thing. Runner is on his service,
Yeah.
like military service, and those soldiers cannot go abroad for a long time. And his wife is running the team. So if Runaway and the management go to NA together, I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna happen to
Yeah, they have a kid too,
his
right?
family. Yeah, they also have a kid.
Yeah, that's a lot of obstacles in the way. There was a post on Reddit talking about that a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's definitely a lot of obstacles for them to make it happen with the management, but I definitely do think the management is crucial to that team.
Yes, the management is crucial, and that management is a key factor that kept them together.
Yeah, just overall too,
So-
like the popularity and fans that they have, and not even just in Korea, in the world, they're like one of the most popular teams. I think they are the most popular team outside of Overwatch League. So going in,
I
they
also
will have a huge advantage when it comes to fans and stuff. But
Yeah.
we'll just have to see what happens there. I mean, that's pretty much it. I think we've rounded up most of the big Korean moves, the teams, the players, all that stuff. If there's anything else you want to say.
I don't know, man. It's always a good time talking to you about those NA situations and sharing my opinions about Korean ones.
Yeah,
Like,
it's awesome too,
'cause
just hearing your
with
perspective.
Yes, because there's not much of a chance to talk to like someone that's directly related to those pro scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, it's always a good time talking to you.
I know there's like some translations from Invin that go on Reddit sometimes here and there, but it's like a once a week thing, nothing big. Like nobody over on Reddit really knows what the Koreans are thinking, like the general consensus of everyone. Like I had no idea that you guys didn't even know that Washington DC wasn't posted yet, and everybody thought that Wizard Young wasn't joining them. Whereas over here, I think everybody took my word for it. Even after Wizard Young posted that he wasn't going to DC, everybody was like, he's just lying. So like, interesting, right? And even though I don't have that great of a reputation on Reddit either, even though it is getting better with some of these leaks, which I guess comes with
Yes.
it.
One more thing.
Go for
I
it.
think I think it'll be better for you if you like keep in touch with Korean communities because you are gaining your spot in Korean community, and if you continue doing that, I think it'll be good for you and your channel too.
Interesting. I was thinking something I could possibly do is get somebody to translate my tweets or my leaks like that and have them posted on Invin as soon as they go up, and then just maybe have my thoughts translated as well. That way it's like easier access and it's pretty much instant.
Yes,
Could be
and
something
actually
I could do.
there are a few of your clips that are translated
Yeah.
in Invent.
Okay.
Yes.
I
And people actually like your videos, so
really okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's something good to know. That's it though. I guess it was a good talk, man. Thank you for coming in, Koska.
Okay, my pleasure.
And there it is, guys, the full talk with Koska. Again, if you did enjoy it, be sure comment down below. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this where I cover Koreans' thoughts. And that's going to be it. Thank you for watching the video, guys. Be sure, drop a like on it and subscribe to my channel for more daily Overwatch League content. I'm out of here. Peace.